Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. We must rest in the knowing. We must rest in the knowing. I found this quote the other day, man, and it says it comes from the book A Course in Miracles, and it says those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait and wait without anxiety. Now that struck a nerve in me, man, because I know that one of the most difficult parts of, the creation process, one of the most difficult parts of manifesting a thing in this world is, when a person gathers their thoughts, man, and sets their goals and sets their outcome and meditates on it. It becomes their prayer. It becomes their mindset, right? Once you formulated that mindset and it's a constant energy, one of the most challenging parts is once the moment after that. Once you look around, your mind is doing something different. It's doing one thing that you've created. You look around and your world is doing something completely different. That could be one of the most challenging parts, man. That could be one of the moments that sends you back to the old you, man. And it comes down to we have to understand the process. We have to understand that this old world, that it's just a matter of time before it will quickly begin to crumble. We have to have the understanding, man, that it's mind over matter, literally, that it's our mindset over what we see. We have to understand that. So I just put together, man, 3, bullet points, 3 steps on ways that we can, stay in the knowing, that we can rest in the knowing. And the first one is we have to trust the process. We have to trust the process. I was watching Ash Cash on Instagram. He goes live every morning on Instagram, or most mornings. And I try to catch him at least one day a week, man. And he went live the other day, man, and he said, you know what? We trust Amazon more than we trust God, right? And I'm just sitting there listening to him, and he's kind of giving the examples and stuff. I said, you know what? I said, the brother is right, man. I said, the brother's right, because I can think of many a times, man, where I've been, maybe talking to some brothers or on live, and they'll mention a book, and I'll write it down. And as soon as I get off a call, I'll go on Amazon, I'll type it in, boop, 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 order this book, hit one click to buy. It's coming this way, and I completely forget about it. I don't sit there and think about checking the tracking number. I don't get on the computer to see if it's shipping, man. And a lot of times, when something is delivered, either I'm just walking out the front door and I see a box down there, or sometimes they'll ring the doorbell and I'm like I'm not even expecting anybody, and then I'll hear the truck pulling off and I'm like, damn, I forgot I ordered something. I say, he's right, man. Like Amazon, we give Amazon and other companies like that our full faith. We hit one button and forget about it. And there's been some times, man, where I've gone to spirit, I've gone to my higher self, and I say, you know what, like I need change, I need answers, I need some understanding on something, I need a blessing, I need some healing, I need anything, right? And I can pray for this thing, I can create my new mindset for this thing, and instead of me just forgetting about it and expecting it that it's gonna be here, but I'll check up every 5 minutes. I'm looking for signs. I'm still looking at the world, waiting on it to show itself. And that's really a lack of faith. That's really me having a lack of understanding the process. Brothers, we have to understand the process. We have to understand, man, that there are laws in place that govern this world. And if we do a certain thing, that a certain outcome is going to happen. We have to stop taking our faith out of, not only just our faith, but really putting our power in man or man-made things. Like going back to the Amazon example, it's easy to hit Amazon and knowing that Amazon is a big company and they move this and they have faith in them. But a lot of us have faith in like our employers or whatever our source of income is. Instead of saying in our minds that, you know what, I understand that even this blessing that's coming from me, it's not coming from my employer. It's not coming from Walmart. It's not coming from, whatever company, that a person works from. It's easy to start putting our faith in that company instead of saying, you know what, I know that my check says, company XYZ, but I have to understand that the process, like the blessing is coming from, the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to transition into believing that man has power, But what I'm really saying is we have to trust the process. Like we have to plant the seed. We have to get our minds right. And we have to understand that things will play out like they need to play out, man. We have to start putting more faith in the Most High than we do in man. And the second one is we need to stay connected. We need to stay connected. And what I mean by that is, we have to stay plugged in. And we talked about this the other day when we were talking about the self and mind compared to the ego. Like we have to start looking at life. We have to start looking at the way we're supposed to move as if we have an auxiliary cord, the aux cord plugged into our minds. Like we have to operate almost like it's an IV plugged into mine because once we separate, I'm telling you, the world looks completely different. The world looks completely different. If you're praying for financial gain, when you're plugged in and those bills are coming in and those late notices are coming in, that world looks different if you're still plugged into mine as opposed to unplugged. You know what I'm saying? Like one way we can rest in the knowing is staying plugged into our prayers. Because you have to understand that mind, when it said that God created, man in his image, what God created was mind, right? And if that's the only thing that's real, as opposed to this world being an illusion, we have to understand that mind is the only thing that we have personally that's constant. So whatever we put in it is going to be a constant energy, our prayer. So we have to understand the importance of plugging into that and never letting that auxiliary cord come out. Sometimes, man, some things will happen and I can see it from my mindset. But sometimes some things will try to get your attention, man, or to get you off centered. And brother, I'll grab that auxiliary cord, almost about to bring it out just to react to it. But I'm telling you, man, it's something we have to start resting in the knowing. We have to leave that thing plugged in and operate in that energy, man. When like I said the other day, man, when people at the water cooler are talking about you, when people, when your next door neighbor is looking at you funny because you don't fit in or whatever, man, I'm telling you, rumors and all this stuff, they hit different when you're plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they don't hit at all when you're plugged in. So the second thing is, man, we have to stay connected to what's timeless, to what's ageless. You know what I'm saying? We have to stay connected to that constant energy, which is our prayer, right? And the third thing is, man, we have to be grateful for the journey. Like we have to have gratitude for the journey, because when you think about it, like the experience is all in the journey. There was a sister that I was dating a while back, man, a good while. This was some years ago. And we were just sitting there chilling. And just all of a sudden, man, we decided to go to the Bahamas, right? And I remember we kind of waited too late to get a plane ticket, flights last minute, man. They highs, I don't know what, man. So we ended up going to Bahamas. We ended up driving from Texas all the way to Florida. I can't remember if we left out of Port Canaveral or Miami or wherever it was. But we drove all the way to Florida, called the boat all the way to Bahamas, and spent time in Bahamas, man. And I can remember when I think about the time there in Nassau, I can vividly remember two things, right? I remember going to a restaurant. There's a restaurant in Bahamas. It's actually two restaurants. And I think it's called Brothers or it's called Two Brothers. But the thing that's crazy about this restaurant, man, is when you pull up, same parking lot, when you pull up, you have two different restaurants side by side owned by two different brothers. And as soon as you pull up, you got people in the parking lot trying to get you to come to each one. You know, they got flyers saying, no, come over here, man. Then you got the other brothers, team saying, no, come over here, eat over here, man. It's like the craziest thing that two brothers are sitting there, battling each other over two restaurants, man. So I remember that stuck in my head. I also remember it rained. It like poured down, man, for like an hour. And I remember, man, we were riding, me and this sister were riding mopeds through the city, man. It was pouring down, brother. And I can remember the rain just stopped and the sun came out, man, shining as bright as I've ever seen a sun. And I can remember, man, just riding around the city. The streets were wet, the trees were wet, buildings were wet. And, man, everything looked like a cartoon. It looked animated, man. I can remember going over, there's a big bridge going from Nassau going to Atlantis. There's a big bridge, man. And I can remember looking down, seeing the cruise ships, seeing the beach, everything just looked animated, man. I've never experienced like seeing something like that, and it was just an epic moment. And those are like the two things really that I remember from that trip to Bahamas. But after I came back, after me and the sister came back, man, and continued on with just daily life, every time we brought up that trip, the trip to Nassau, we never talked about the events there. We never talked about the brothers' restaurant. We never talked about the moped ride in the rain. What we talked about was the journey. What we talked about was the events that took place before we got to Nassau. What we talked about, man, was like, the 14 or 16 hour, whatever drive it is to Florida. We talked about the crazy people we saw on the highway, man. We talked about the car problems we ran into. We talked about the arguments we had pretty much off and on the whole time there. We talked about the hotels. But this sister, we had a hotel one time. This sister booked the hotel. She was like, you know what? Nah, I got the hotel. I got this part. Man, we pulled up to this hotel. Brother, we pulled up to a straight trap house. It's something I'll never forget, man. We pulled up to a straight trap house. And she was like, dang, like, I thought this was going to be nice. Like, the name was, Chateau Days, something. And I'm like, man, the name alone sound like trash, man. She's like, the picture looked like this. I'm like, man, we got catfished. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, you didn't see no red flags on the, $29 a night price tag. Like, that wasn't an indicator that there might be some illegal activity taken in. We walked through the hallways, man. You could smell yayo in our hallways, bro. It was a horrible experience. But those are the things we talked about. We talked about the new friends we met along the way. We talked about the crazy restaurants that we experienced, from state to state. What I'm saying is, man, it's all about the journey. So when I say rest in the knowing, we have to enjoy the process, stay plugged in, but just enjoy the ride, man. Like that's the ultimate part of the experience. Yeah, live in the end. Like Neville says, live in the end, man. Stay in that prayer, but observe what's going on in the entire, when this old world is falling and this new world is forming. Once that new world is formed in concrete, yeah, that's a beautiful experience. But man, you want to watch that world grow. You want to watch that journey, man. You know what I'm saying? So man, it's like we have to start resting in the knowing. I'm gonna read that again, man. I love that quote. It says, "Those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait, and wait without anxiety." Brothers, we have to be patient and just enjoy the process, man. We have to understand that God, whatever you refer to that source as, we have to understand that God, has built this, has placed laws in place, man. And that if we do a certain thing, everything will play out exactly as it should. We have to rest in the knowing, brothers.